Yeah, okay, friends. Today, trying to think, I was coming home from work. I work up in the Blairstown area, and I went from Blairstown down through Hope, New Jersey, then eventually into Great Meadows, the Vienna area, along Route 46 west of Hackettstown, and I just realized, ooh, I don't know why, but I saw a sign that said Island Dragway. I believe it was Island Dragway. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm pretty sure that's the name of the place. I had to kind of pay attention to the road. And the drag strip, in other words. And it was, I said, my gosh, I did a show there once. Yeah, they asked me to come in and DJ or introduce a few early rock and roll groups there. Yeah. But then I got to thinking how I don't think I've ever gone to that spot to actually see a drag race. And it's funny that I wouldn't have done it yet in all these years of living up in this neck of the woods. And especially since when I was younger and lived down in North Carolina, from let's see, the late 70s into the early 80s. I was on the rescue squad in the city of Wilson, and we used to go in the ambulance on a Sunday late morning, early afternoon. I believe it was Sunday. We'd go out to a drag strip, and we would babysit with the ambulance. We would babysit the the drag races. And that was so cool. I'd forgotten what fun we had doing that. Yeah, you could bet on the races, of course. But we would, what they would do, we had this, it was kind of it was a good enough ambulance. The better ambulances were left back in the city, but the one ambulance that could go to the drag strip was set up. If someone got hurt, we could tend to them, and we could definitely, if they were really hurt bad, we could definitely get them closer to the hospital and maybe meet up with the better ambulance along the way and transfer if we had to, or if it was just a minor injury, we just go right through. About the only injury we ever saw in something like 3 years of my going anyway to the drag strip. Brewers Speedway. It was called Brewers Speedway, yes. Uh, I don't think it was even a quarter mile. I don't think they cared how long it was. But it was long enough to show who's boss, I suppose. But we would go there, and we'd sit right next to, in the ambulance, we would just sit there right next to where the dragsters would take off. They'd go in, side by side. Driver on the left, driver on the right, and there'd be, you would see these lights would go from red to amber to green, and when it hit green, all down they'd go. And I don't know if it was a quarter mile, like I said. It might have been an eighth, but it was enough to show who's boss. And my God, there'd be a fence that would keep people from getting on the drag strip, and but it would be lined with people, uh, generally guys, and maybe some girlfriends, and they'd all be just watching that race. And soon as the race was over, you could see money changing hands. It was like an asphalt casino. Everybody, oh my gosh, just betting on who's going to win. And they were having a ball. It couldn't have been a better time if you tried. They had good hot dogs, great chili and onions on them. And like I said, in the ambulance, we just kind of sit there and watch. And and our food was free. Yeah, and I think the guy who owned the speedway would give us each like $20, 10, $20, something like that. Whatever. Yeah, roughly that kind of money for just being nice enough to come out. And so I often went, and gotta say, we had a good time. About the only time something happened I think some guy at the end of the race lost his brakes and he careened in. There was a pond at the end of the drag strip, about 100 yards beyond the drag strip. Where the pavement ended, there was dirt, smooth dirt, and then the pond. And that guy wound up in the pond. Again, it wasn't deep. It was only like 2 or 3 feet deep. It didn't do his engine any good, but he was fine. Yeah, so it wasn't like he hit a wall. And I don't think I ever saw anyone. I think now and then someone might blow a tire, and they might careen into the side walls of the drag strip. I don't think it's there anymore. It was probably long since gone. But gee, that was fun. That really was a blast from the past. And of course, if there was a guy who had a dragster that wasn't quite as fast as someone else's, well, then he'd get a little bit of a head start. So to make it even, yeah, and that was kind of cool because there'd be some guy, maybe 25 yards ahead of one dragster, and he's got that one chasing his tail. I mean, on the side, he's not going to try it. Yeah, and they're going to be directly behind him, but still, he's got to really hit that pedal to stay ahead of whoever it was, and it was a pretty good time. I would suggest, if again you want to look it up, Island Dragway, I believe it's called, and you look and see if they're still operating. If they are, it's a nice afternoon, and they got some super, really wild dragsters there that come in. At least last I knew, from what I could see. So you might want to give that a thought. Something to do. I think they got good hot dogs too, if I recall right. Seem to remember. Now that's up here in Great Meadows. Yeah, off of Route 46 in Great Meadows. There you are. Okay. I'll see you later. God bless and have yourself a ball.